let's begin on our backs today. Let's grab a couple of tools to start there. I'd like to grab a standard size set or a plus size set, it doesn't matter, of therapy balls. And we'll start with that, I think. And then maybe something to support your pelvis. Whether it's a foam roller, whether it's a block, whether it's a Coregeous ball, just something larger that while we're lying down, we can lift the hips up. So the back is a great way to start because it will ground us all together here. So lie down, bend your knees, close your eyes. And then take your therapy balls right underneath the pelvis to begin. We'll just come into a little inversion to lift the hips, which will help settle us back into our bodies. And take just a couple of breaths here. Let's do some square breathing. So square breathing is a balancing breath, and it will help bring you back into the sensation of your body, reconnecting the mind, the body, and the breath to bring us into the present moment. So the breath looks like a square. There are 4 parts of the breath. Inhale, holding in the full position. Exhale, holding in the empty position. So it's going to be in for 4, hold for 4. Out for 4, hold for 4. And we'll do that a couple times through. So take a breath in. Hold the breath at the top. Exhale the breath out. Hold the breath out. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 4, 3, 2, 1. 2 more rounds just like that on your own, to your own count. For 4, out for 4, one more time. And then let go of the breath and just feel the breath as sensation begin to move in and out of the body. Following your breath and following your awareness, noticing what sensations arise. Maybe you feel a pull in the upper trap, or then you feel tension in the hip, or maybe you feel your toe. Just note where awareness carries you in the body and brings up sensations. Maybe there's pain, maybe there's tension. Whatever arises, welcoming it. And as these sensations arise, maybe you can use them to set an intention for the class. Maybe it's to be with whatever sensations arise. Maybe it's to let go of control. So by relaxing the jaw and relaxing the glutes, those muscles associated with control. Or maybe it is even to reconnect with center, having a better sense of our breath in the belly and sense of core. Whatever your intention is, find it now and affirm it in your body and in your mind to carry you through the practice. Confirming it by taking a full breath in and then exhaling all the way. And then let's begin by finding a little movement at the pelvis, rocking the pelvis down and back, pelvic tilting, using the pelvis as a driver to start to feel into the whole spine, feeling the rippling of the spine from tailbone to crown of the head. Noticing if there's any place where you feel like you move easily, where you feel like you breathe well. And then noticing if there's any place that you tend to get stuck, where you can't feel the breath, or whether it feels like a block. And we'll start now to explore through the whole spine. So right from this position, just walk yourself down. So now you're off of the pelvis and into the low back. And now as you're on the low back, let's do a few more pelvic tilts, mobilizing the lumbar spine right as it connects to the pelvis and sacrum. Feeling the forward and back movement of the spine here. And then maybe pausing and seeing what happens if you explore the rotational motion. So spread the feet wide and allow the knees to rock side to side, rocking into one side of the back and then the other side of the back. And then moving up again, I'm just going to walk myself down. So now I'm right below the ribs. So I'm in the upper part of the lumbar spine. And I'm going to pelvic tilt again, exploring the flexion and extension motion through that area of the spine. And you can stay with that, or maybe you decide to rotate. And you get to decide how much movement and how much stillness you want in each of these spots. And now we'll add the third plane of movement in the spine. So we did forward, back, rotating left and right. And now let's do a little side to side action. So maybe reach one hand down towards one ankle and then reach the other hand down towards the other ankle. Noticing what happens as you side bend. And when that feels free, either rolling down again or maybe just sliding the balls up, now we're in the back of the ribs. So the very bottom of the rib cage, right around the diaphragm level. Using your pelvic tilt again to massage over a couple segments here. And then seeing what happens as you rotate. And again, using as much movement or as little movement as you'd like. So you can rotate the legs one way, and if you find a point of sensation, of tenderness, feel a little stuck, you can pause there. Take a few breaths into it, sending your awareness right to where the balls and the body meet. And as you send your awareness there, you'll start to feel the radius of that sensation expand. And the intensity of that will start to dilute. And then again in this lower rib cage, maybe side bend left and side bend right. And then moving up again, we're just making our way through the entire spine, using all three planes of motion, noting what feels right in each place, whether it's flexion, extension. And now that you're in the rib cage, you could rotate from the feet, or maybe we even decide to rotate through the upper body. And then here, try that side to side action, side bending, reaching hand towards opposite ankle. And it's going to feel different as you explore the different places along the spine. Now making your way up between the shoulder blades. Spending as little or as much time in the different spots. I'm giving you freedom to explore. We'll focus today on the posterior chain. It seems like all of the requests were in the back of the body. So glutes, traps, Achilles. So we'll work on lengthening that whole back side of the body. Getting a little rocking side to side. Giving yourself a hug here. Sometimes these upper thoracic segments between the shoulder blades can be really locked. So this rotation is a nice way to free it up. And you may even find that as you get between the shoulder blades, you may even hover the hips and do a little chug, I like to call it, where you pull your hips to and from the heels, massaging over one or two segments at a time. And if you're in the hug, you'll get that nice spreading through the middle traps. Start to get into the bottom of the upper traps, right at the base of the neck and start of the rib. And the pelvic tilt is really nice here too, to get right into that cervical thoracic junction. You can get a little spreading, right where people tend to get that dowager hump. If you tuck the tailbone and tuck the chin, you're going to get a pulling in opposite directions. And you'll get this pulley action, this lengthening right where the ball and the body meet. Make sure your hair is out of the way. And then with your hands, now remove the therapy balls right from the back of the neck. Take them out of the tote. I like them a little wider here. And now I'm going to place the therapy balls right in the upper traps, this meaty portion. It's like I create a platform here for the upper traps to rest on. And I'll give you the option, if you want to lift your hips up, you can lift your hips up onto the foam, onto a block, onto or just ball, whatever you have. The lifting isn't necessary for what we're going to do today. We're going to, but it does give a little extra compression. We're going to bring the arms up overhead. And what I want to do is I want to use a contract, relax activation here. So scrunch the shoulders up towards your ears. Feel the musculature push the balls out and hold that contraction, tightening into the balls, feeling the space between the neck and the shoulders disappear. Hold that for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then release. Feeling the balls sink a little bit deeper, making sure your therapy balls are in the just right spot. So they're in that muscle bulk on the top of the shoulders, right in that L, that crease between the neck and shoulder. Relaxing completely. Now go ahead and squeeze the upper traps again. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then release. Feeling as you release, all that tension melts away. And let's do that one more time. Pinch the shoulders up towards the ears. Hold that. Squeeze for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then relax. Let the arms snow angel back down towards your side. And now, reposition the balls if they slid out a little bit. And we'll do just a little stretching. So I'm going to do one side at a time. We're literally going to pin down the upper trap. So I'm going to put it on, keep the ball just under my left side. I'm going to reach my left hand down towards my left hip. Then I'm going to take the ball with my right hand, the second ball, and I'm going to bring it into the shoulder, into the neck and shoulder, that crease in the front. So I'm literally going to sandwich the ball and sandwich the musculature with the balls. So I should feel this meat between the two balls. And then I'm going to tip my head away. I'm going to tip my head to the right, and I may even rotate a little bit to the right. And as I reach my head to the right, I'm reaching my left hand down towards my left hip. And then I'm going to release. And then just maybe do that action without the balls there. And notice if you feel a difference between the left and right side now. And now take the ball to the right into the muscle bulk on the right. So we create a platform so the upper trap is resting on top of the therapy ball. I'm going to take my second therapy ball, create a sandwich of my upper trap musculature. And then that's going to create this clamping action so that we improve the slide and the glide of those myofascial tissues. So I'm going to reach my right hand down now towards my right heel. And then I'm going to reach my left ear towards my left shoulder. And I should feel it pull right between the therapy balls. So pinning and stretching our upper trap, which we don't do too often. Reach the hand, reach the head in opposite directions, oscillating about 3 more times. One more round. Stretch and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then release. Take both of the therapy balls out. Release the hips down. And then we'll come into one more release for the spine on the back. We'll get a little pause before we move into the legs. So I'm going to take therapy balls back into the tote, and I'm just going to pause for a couple minutes in a suboccipital release, but I'm going to make it a little bit more dynamic today. So I'm going to take my block to support my head and take my therapy balls right at the base of my head, so that I come right into the occipital ridge where the suboccipital muscles lie. And this juts the chin forward and brings the head into extension. So as we're working on the back of the spine, we'll work on the back of the hips and the back of the calves, we're improving overall flexion. So a bit of mobilization into flexion here by getting the chin tucking and then releasing. Chin tucks. So we're getting a little bit of a massage right in that suboccipital space, letting the balls move inward into that space where the head sits right on top of the spine. So tuck the chin, even push down with the head, increasing the pressure into the balls a little bit. A little cervical nod. Maybe pause, hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Let's do that one more time. Tuck the chin, balls come into that space right between the head and the top of the neck. Compress the head downward so that the balls are going right into that space between the head and the neck, opening up that space. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then release. Just lie here. Maybe take 3 more rounds of that square breath, coming back to balance, letting go of the efforting, and feeling yourself supported and at ease before we move on. Inhale for 4. Hold for 4. Exhale for 4. Hold for 4. One more round on your own. Releasing any efforting, any holding up of the head. Feeling gravity pressing down onto the body. And then removing all of your props. Coming back to your back. I'm going to move right into the hips now. We'll use a similar technique in the hips as we used in the traps. So take one of your therapy balls from the tote. I'm going to center myself on the mat. And take that therapy ball right behind the left hip. So you're right in the glute. Knee is bent. Now straighten out the left leg. As you straighten out the left leg with the therapy ball under it, you may feel that initial desire to squeeze the butt. And so actually allow yourself to squeeze the butt. Squeeze it even more. Push it out even more. If it's sensitive, Let the body contract. Hold that contraction about 7 seconds. And then release. And then do that again. Squeeze your buttock, push the ball out. Feel even more musculature contract this time. The ball's right under my left butt. And then relax, sink into the ball. Feel it go a little deeper even. And one more time, squeeze. And release. And now bend your knee. And now let's sweep the hips side to side. So kind of like a hula action. And as we sweep, I'm going to let the left knee fall out to the side. So I'm going to come across, sweep across the glutes, repositioning the ball to find that just right spot. I'm going to sweep about 5, 6 times, pausing and noticing any place of sensation, welcoming that sensation and softening into it. And then as I come towards the back of the hip bone, I'm going to let my knees fall over to the left. And I'm going to come into that contract, relax again. So I'm using neuromuscular principles to inhibit and to relax the muscles and free up our range. So as we go into stretching in a couple minutes, we'll have a bit more mobility. Here now, right foot still pointing towards the ceiling. Pelvis, though, is rotating towards the left. Left knee is on the ground. Push your left knee into the floor by squeezing your butt. So now we're externally rotating the hip. And then relaxing into the ball. Feel the back of the hips soften and sink in a little deeper. Reposition as necessary. 2 more times, squeezing the butt. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Maybe a little sweeper reposition is necessary to find that last bit that's holding on still. Push your left knee towards the floor using external rotation, and then squeeze the butt so your behind almost levitates off of the ball just a little bit because you're pushing the ball out with your muscle and you're pushing your knee down to the floor. And then release. And then rotate your hips back towards center. Remove the therapy ball and just let both legs straighten. And you're going to feel a huge difference, the glutes on both left and right. So the side that we just did, for me it was the left, feels a whole lot flatter. And I feel like my whole leg is actually touching the ground in different spots. So notice that point of contact. I even feel like my leg's a little longer. It might feel different it's going to feel different for everybody. So just come back to the sensation of where your body is resting on the floor. Feel the left leg supported on the earth. Feel the right leg supported on the earth. And notice the difference without judging or trying to change. Just observe the change that's occurred. And now let's come over to the right, or whatever side you have to do still. So left knee stays bent this time. Ball is right in the middle of the buttocks on the right. Straighten out your right leg. You might feel the initial reaction of guarding in the buttocks. So go ahead, squeeze it even more. Squeeze your right buttocks, hold. Squeeze for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Two more times, just like that. Squeeze the glutes. Feel even more fibers engage. Push the ball out and hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Let's do this one last time. Hold, squeeze for 5, squeeze for 4, squeeze for 3, 2, 1, and release. Sinking, sinking, sinking all of your weight into where the ball and the body meet. And then without lifting your leg, just slide the right knee back to bent. And now let's sweep the hips side to side. Sweeping and exploring the back of the glutes, the whole posterior hip. And then allow yourself to rotate the right knee out to the side. And once you've rotated as far as you can go, allow your pelvis to start to rotate to the right. So the ball is just along the back of the right hip. So you're behind that bony prominence in the right side. So closer to the attachment point of where the glutes and where the hip rotators attach to the back of the hip bone to pull on the hip. Now, squeeze your buttock again and push your right knee into the floor, like you're trying to push the knee open to externally rotate the hip. So we're engaging now the musculature at the end range. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Let's do that 2 more times. Hold for 5, hold for 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Last time, squeeze and hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Sinking the whole body weight into where the ball and body meet. Allowing the tissue to spread and the ball move a little deeper. Take a couple deep breaths here, sensing and welcoming that sensation without fighting, without guarding, allowing the body to soften to accommodate the ball. And then return back to your back, relaxing all the way. And as you're ready, let's come to sitting. And we'll be doing some stretching now to move into the stretch portion of the class, which completes that deep release. We did a whole bunch of rolling, and now we'll do a little bit of stretching. I did promise the calf, so I would encourage maybe a hand towel or a strap, or even just using your shirt, if you have another shirt, to be able to reach the calf here. So we're gonna do a couple compound things. We're gonna sit in a long sitting position. And first thing I want you to do is I want you to take your left knee and stack it over the right knee. And this is going to get into that outer hip that we just rolled. So you should be feeling it in the left outer hip. If you don't feel any sensation and you have a lot of mobility, maybe you tuck the bottom knee under as well. This would be the more complete or traditional yoga posture, but it's just a variation. Neither one is better. So you could be here, which is perfect, or you can be here. And ground the left hip down towards the floor. And we'll actually lean into it a little bit because the tendency is to lift the left hip here. So I'm going to have you press the left hip down into the floor and even take the left hip down, the left hand out to the left side. And we're going to get a little stretch through the side of the neck again as well. Also take the right hand and reach the right hand down to the right side and let the left ear hang towards the left side of the neck. And so now we're getting a twofer, a little extra release. Reach through the right fingertips. If you can, press the fingertips into the floor and pull the shoulder blade down the back. If it feels like too much to do both of these things, you can choose one. If the neck is feeling more intense, forget about the leg. And if it really feels like the hip needs the work, maybe let go of the neck. Wherever you are, allow yourself to be there. Welcome whatever sensations are arising in the body. Is it stretch? Is there a sense of struggle? If so, how can you back away from that edge a little bit and meet yourself with kindness? Just come into wherever you are right now and find a place that's sustainable. And can you send your breath right to where the body is sensing, right to where the body is feeling? Can the movement of the breath create a little space so that there's less efforting, so that you feel less stuck? Holding for 3 more breaths. And then releasing back to center, moving slowly, letting the head lift gently. And everyone now untuck your right leg. So the right leg is out in front. If you can, keep the left hip over the right so the knees are stacked. Now we're going to come into a little bit more of a posterior stretch. So we're going to forward fold. If you want to let go of this leg, just bring it out to the side like this. No problem. Find what works for you. I'm going to keep the leg tucked over. And then I'm going to take my therapy ball right into the calf, the meaty part of my calf on the right. And as I fold forward into this stretch, I'm also going to use my towel And I'm just going to point and flex my foot to get some mobilization through the back part of my leg. And again, if this other leg is just too much, it can come out straight, it can come out to the side. There's no right way, but we're mobilizing the right calf. And then we're getting an opening in the left hip. Let the head be really heavy. Let go of efforting. Shake the head no. Nod the head yes. Let the head fall forward towards the right knee. And then find stillness. Let go of the pinning and stretching. Let go of the bending and straightening of the calf. And just pause here for 5 breaths. Feeling this forward bend action. Stretch the whole posterior chain from plantar fascia, calf, hamstring, low back, mid back, upper traps into the top of the head. Even tuck your chin towards your throat a little bit and send your breath awareness to the back. As you breathe in, expand the whole back like a balloon that's filling in the back of the body. For 3 more breaths. Head really heavy. And then releasing. Everything releases. Shake the legs out in front. And we'll switch sides. Right foot now comes over so that the right knee stacks on top of the left knee. Again, stay here or tuck the bottom leg under as well. There's no right way. They're all variations, and the most important thing is that you listen to where your body needs to be. So what feels good in your body and what allows you to find stillness, find sustainability so that you can stay here and breathe. You have to be able to maintain the evenness of your breath in order for the body to soften and improve your range of motion. So from whichever leg version works, take your hands out, tense them, lean into the right hip, and stretch the left hand away, bringing the left shoulder blade down the back, and then tip your head towards the right. Feeling the opening in the entire left side of the neck, creating as much space as possible between the ear and the shoulder. Revisiting that upper trap opening that we did. And now, send your breath right to where in your body you feel it most. Where is your body asking for support? Is there one particular place that you feel yourself guarding a little bit, efforting a little bit? Whatever's calling in your body, bring your awareness there. Say, I hear you. And then send your breath there to soothe it. Soften the jaw. Let the eyes close. Even though you're stretched to your edge, you're turned and twisted. How can you find a sense of balance, a sense of support, and a sense of ease here for 3 more breaths? And then slowly let yourself come back up, letting your head move really slowly. Unraveling the bottom leg, and maybe the top leg too, if it felt better, out to the side. I'm giving you variations to work with. So it could be here, it may even be straight. And then let's come into the calf on the left side. So therapy ball is right in between the two bulky calf muscles here. And we're coming into a bit of a forward fold so that we're getting the stretch through the entire back body. And then I'll use the towel or a strap or a belt or my shirt just to pedal the foot. As you pedal, let go of the head, round into yourself, tuck the chin towards the throat, and then just gently bend and straighten the calf. We're flossing the entire back chain of the body. And continue with that pointer flex. Or if it feels right, just find stillness here. Let go of any efforting in the shoulders, letting the shoulder blades drop down towards the hips. Letting the head drop towards the knees. Letting your breath fill the entire back portion of the body, pushing the breath backwards like it's filling the back body and blowing it up like a balloon. Send your breath to where your body needs the most support. Letting your breath bring with it space, mobility, and sustainability for 3 more breaths. One big exhale. Let it all go. Unravel everything. Coming into our last thing. Here we're just going to do a forward bend, and I want you to hug your arms around your knees, pulling your knees towards your chest. And you could even do this sitting. Like if this is hard to do on the floor, you could even do it sitting in a chair and just hug your hands around your thighs. But if you're here on the floor and you're comfortable with it, get that hug and then let your chin tuck towards your throat so your head comes towards your knees. Keep the chest against the knees and keep your head against the knees. And then you can slowly start to straighten out the legs. Wherever you are is just right. Don't force, don't effort, don't push. Pushing or efforting can put you into a precarious spot. So I want you to just arrive. Arrive to that first and listen to what the body is asking for. Maybe it's asking for more support, something beneath the knees, or something to rest the head on. Maybe acknowledging your edge is allowing you to go a little further. But that sensation also could be telling you to lessen a little bit, to back up a little bit. It might be saying, hey, you missed something, you went too far. And be here for 5 more breaths, creating an environment that allows you to soften into it. Using your breath, welcoming sensation with kindness without wanting to push away or change. Just saying, I hear you, I acknowledge you. And by meeting your body exactly where you are,
allowing it to feel safe, supported, and at ease. Bringing you into deeper rest, relaxation, and release. Wherever you are right now, take one more full breath in through your nose. Fill the whole back body, and then exhaling through the mouth. Let the next breath pull you back up and all the way onto your back. To take one moment to release entirely. Feeling completely supported and completely at ease. Allowing the body to integrate the work we've just done. Allowing the breath to restore to its normal resting state. Letting any sensations in the body subside. And as you're ready, without rushing, taking as much time as you need, you can roll to your side and then use your hands to push yourself back up to sitting. Thank you so much for joining me. That was a little deep release of rolling, followed by yin type stretches so that we get more glide and slide through the myofascial tissues. And then we bring our joints into the full range of motion so that we can restore the glide through movements and then restore access to our end range of motion so we can move freely. Thank you so much. Please let me know if you have any questions.